explain. This is Gabriel. He's just training with us today.
Right. Hello.
There's a small corner of the table. I can kind of show you how it all looks. Do you guys take off our shoes? All right. Always ask.
My younger son and his family are working with me temporarily until they can close on a house.
Cool.
So,
That sounds pretty good.
help yourself. Turn a light on the boat.
Sit right here. So you're from Florida originally?
No, I'm from Oklahoma originally.
Oklahoma.
But I've been a Floridian since '89.
Well, that was a good year. I was born in '89. You've been here, it must have been 33, 32 years.
Started out in the Panhandle.
Ooh, that's fun up there. You know, when I went there, they told me that there's more homeless people in the Panhandle than there is in Las Vegas.
Really?
Which is like Pensacola area. I don't know if that was true, but that's what they told me.
Yeah, I lived across the Bay Bridge south of Pensacola.
Nice. Kind of prepared, and I'll kind of lay out, you know, really the way that I do this. I keep it very simple. I'm just going to show you what it's going to be if you pay the utility company over time compared to owning your power, redirecting it towards an asset rather than a liability. You know, I always tell the families that I help get involved with this process, you know, I am genuinely thank you for the time you're giving me. I always try to keep it somewhat exploratory. My job as a professional, show you both situations. I'm a consumer myself, so whenever I put myself in this sort of situation, I want to find somebody that understands it. I'll also tell you we can look for every reason this does not make sense. The major questions that I get are these 6, which I'll cover: roof, move, cost, service, savings, and then who owns it. Ultimately, if we cannot utilize the amount you give to the utility company to fund the project, we don't pick the home, and we're transferring from the mercy of the power company of renting something into energy independence and owning it. Also, if the utility denies the application, ultimately you can't do it because they own the transformers and they own the meters. We need to be able to get the meter to spin backwards, backfeed into the grid. It's called net metering. Right now, I know that you took a picture of the utility bill and put together the system design. What do you think is your average monthly payment to right now? I have it brought up right here. I'm going to pull it up, but what do you think is your rough average as far as what you pay for power right now? If you were to guess.
Well, on an average basis, it is less than. However, now
with the increase,
and the apartment above the garage out there is now being occupied.
of course.
My last bill was what?
Yeah,
Okay.
somewhere around that, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just going to say as an even number. You know, that's what an average payment is. If it was the 15% rate increase going in this year, we'll make it up to the 100. But if I just do the $2, multiply it by 12, it's $20 you're giving to the utility company in a year. You get 100% of your power from the grid. You do not get any added home value. You do not get any tax credits. Right now, inflation is at 9% with the utility company if you just factor in the data. Some states like Texas, because they had the Texas freeze, the rates go up 30-40%. This just shows you every state, and you know,
What did you
ultimately
just say?
the price increase has gone up like roughly about
No, about Texas. What did you say?
Texas. They had a freeze, the Texas
last
freeze.
year.
The rates in Texas went up 60-70% after that freeze happened. So within the last year,
Grid rates.
Encore, which is the main provider in Texas.
Wow.
So the rates in New Hampshire went up 80%. Like literally overnight, it went from 15 cents a kilowatt to 27 cents a kilowatt. And that's because we have to use our natural resources to power our homes. It's just the way we've done it for the longest time. So the way I always kind of analogize this, if there was a new utility company that opened up and gave you the ability to own it, and your increase, you would never increase. So that's the reason people like this idea. If I take the 200, just multiply it by 10, don't factor in inflation. If the prices never went up for 10 straight years, that's the bare minimum you'd give them. The panels are warranted for 25 years, but we do a 30-year warranty on the output of the panels. So the length of the time the system will last would be equivalent to 2,000 plus inflation just staying with the utility company. That's just the cost of doing nothing and staying with. So The main reason a lot of people haven't gone solar is a lot of people don't want to pay any of the upfront costs, the installation, labor, permitting, all that. We ask for you to help us out with being a reference. Non-disclosure, if a neighbor asks to say you're part of a special marketing program, we keep a small little sign in the planner for the first 3 months, and then we fly a drone after the install. Those are the 4 things we want out of it.
Who does the install?
So the install is done by does all the new triple black panels. So it'll look like, where is it? These ones. They're 405 watt panels as far as the output. I'll show you the actual spec sheet of the panels. 405 watt, just meaning that it's a lot more wattage that you're getting out of each individual panel. As well, I think one thing that separates us that a lot of people don't think about is the warranty on not only the panels, but the inverter. So the inverter has a 25-year warranty as well. So it's bumper to bumper for the entire system if anything happens to the system.
So the installer of the panels
The installer,
is an independent contractor?
yes, it's the installer of the panels is the name of the installation group.
Okay, what relation are they to you?
So Home Nerds does all the marketing for who's the installer.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if we're going to step in and pay the upfront cost, the way that we make money is by having references, having billboards in neighborhoods. Once the system is installed on the roof, we're able to point out your home and use you as a reference.
And who warrants the installation?
The warranty of the installation is warranted through a manufacturer warranty of the actual manufacturer of the panels, as well as what we do is a 25-year bumper-to-bumper warranty where we'll install, warranty, and maintain the system. As far as the material and workmanship warranty of the panels is 25 years. The linear power output warranty is 30 years. Module efficiency 21%, and then 405 watt panels. You can see the difference between a regular panel compared to the new V-Sun panels. We use cell technology. Obviously 405 is the highest wattage panels. That's what they would look like on the roof, similar, but you don't see the lines in the blue panels. So they're very low profile as far as the mounting system. You can see you get extra 30% power generation, and these are all the certifications of the panels. Panels are engineered in Japan and they are manufactured in North America, I believe in Canada, and these are the ratings of the panels. 5x3 is the length of the panels, like 5 feet by 3 feet is the dimensions of the panels. And then we use something called an IQ8 plus inverter. So the panels are the 405 watt triple black for the panels, and then we use something called an N phase IQ8 plus microinverters. Basically what that is each one of the panels will be monitored, meaning that if one panel went out, the system is not all going to go out. That's called a string inverter. If one of the panels were to go out, the system is still working and you'll be able to monitor it from an app on your
So
phone.
they're mounted in parallel
Correct.
as opposed to series.
How do you mean? Parallel versus series?
Parallel
Okay.
as opposed to this one connects to that one, connects to that one. So if one of them dies in the series, then the string is dead.
Correct. We don't do string, we do microinverter.
Okay.
So the benefit of a microinverter is, like you said, if one of the panels goes out, then the whole system doesn't work. So that's just your cost of doing nothing, your current situation.
So on the
Installation, warranty, the roof, anything.
On the installation, what are the panels affixed to?
The panels are affixed and mounted to the truss of the roof. So we actually go right into the truss of the roof. What Damani has to do is take pictures of the attic crawl space, take a picture of the roof, he takes a picture of a main panel, takes a picture of your meter, collects all the photos. That goes to our engineering department. We submit an application to get you approved. If approves it and our engineering department approves it, then we'll do something called a notice of commencement, where we go to the town and submit a permit on your behalf. Once the permit comes back, we schedule your install, then we install the system. After it's installed, then it's inspected. After the inspection happens, then the system is turned on. What it is sometimes up to a 60-day process after installation for the system to be turned on. This whole process from the beginning to end is roughly about 120 days to get the whole thing working exactly the way you want, operating on the roof. I'm going to tell you 120 days, but it may be 90, it may be 60, it may be 50. I'm going to tell you 120 because if I tell you it's going to be 60 days and then it takes 70, then I look bad. So I always try to set the expectations for 4 months. A lot of the times it happens in 60 to 75 days. We've had installs going in
Now
40
that's
days.
until it is what, operational?
Correct. After the system is installed, then we inspect. Then the system needs to be inspected. After the system is inspected, then it's called PTO, which is permission to operate, where we flip the switch and turn the system on, and then the sun goes up, the bills go down. So that's the basic of your situation. This is the main reasons that if I can get you to understand 2 and 3. Most likely you're gonna be intrigued that it's a better idea to go solar. If I don't get you to understand these 2 things, you would never do it. So the peace of mind behind a 2.9% escalator is one of the best parts about this. With the utility company, the rate goes up about 9%. With solar, it's a 2.9% cap, so it will never jump up 10, 15, 20%. Now, as a model home, we exempt you from a 2.9% escalator. We put you into a 0% bracket, meaning the number that we pull up on the design would be the same amount you pay for power. There is no increases on what you pay. So 5 years from now, the fixed payment is the same.
Whom is that payment made?
So that payment is done through our financer, through the utility loan, because what's happening is we take a utility loan against your utility bill to pay for the system and all the equipment, and you're paying back the system every single month with the money you would have given. That's why we refer to it as redirecting or shifting away from just throwing away your money into something you own.
So there's a loan involved?
It's a utility loan, correct? It's different.
And where is the liability of that loan?
Where's the liability of that loan? How do you mean by that question? I just don't want to
Is
answer
the
that.
homeowner liable for that loan?
So what happens is because it is a utility loan against the utility bill, what happens is the same way that you have a never-ending loan with the utility company because they're going to constantly bill you, you are responsible for paying off the total amount of the system. Once you own that system outright, there is no more payments and you have years of free power. I think the main reason people go solar is because they understand the energy independence, no longer being at the mercy of the power company, having an end game, in true ownership, like they own their home. It's like some people pay $1,000 to rent a home, and then they end up paying $1,400 in a mortgage, and they know that it's better to pay $1,400 in a mortgage because they have the equity, rather than just paying off the landlord, or like some people refer to the utility company as their energy lord. That's just what it is. It's America's last monopoly. The reason you picked, we never had a second option. So that's kind of the breakdown of.
Used to be FP&L.
FPL, Florida Power and Light, is still here. It's just in certain areas. So it's Randall. This is Randall? Okay.
Yes.
So I take it you just didn't put in the last name?
Yeah,
Okay,
we didn't
so
do that.
we got Randall H. So, alright, so this is pretty much the breakdown. If you don't do anything, you're going to end up paying $1,000 on your power bill, okay? Over a 25-year period. Based on a 2 average, obviously that's a lot lower. A $2 average, you're paying more like $1,000 as far as the 25-year cost to do nothing. The system that he put together is going to look like this. So it's all going to be on that the other side of the driveway.
Western facing
On the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a total of a kilowatt system. You'd have solar panels, and that system is going to produce kilowatts.
Do those panels actually lay against the roof?
So there's the
flat against the roof?
That's exactly what it looks like compared to the bigger one.
Alright, so there's no gap between the back of the panel and the roof?
Nope, no
There's
gap.
nothing that is a standoff?
I'm going to show you. We use a micro gap technology on the way that they mount, so it's a lot more low profile. Believe it or not, on some of these higher systems, squirrels would find homes under them. They would have to do something called critter guard on a lot of these systems because small little animals would make homes under the solar panels. We use a micro gap system, which is good for you guys to have this because this explains to you all the things when somebody wants to understand like load certifications and obviously the way that the panels actually mount to the roof.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna need that.
So
100%.
the edge of the panels have some sort of a lip through which the anchor screw is driven.
Yeah, so the way that it works is we use a bracket system. So picture if this was a shingle, picture a metal plate, and then that's how we actually go into the truss to actually mount the panels. So that's what we use. We use a guard around the panels. It looks aesthetic. It's a lot more low profile. Obviously, it's not on the front of the house. Most people look at their bank accounts more than their roof, but we want to be able to give you obviously a very low profile system, something that's going to look good, but also not only the panels, but the inverter is warranted for 25 years. That's a big thing.
Where is the inverter?
The inverter is placed a small box. The micro inverters are placed under the panels, and then there's going to be a box where it's placed right next to your meter outside. It can be put inside of a garage as well, but typically we put the box right next to the meter. We run a conduit run up to the panels. Where's the meter, on this side or that side?
The
The main meter?
main meter.
The meter?
I think it's in the back.
Okay. So that's where we would put it. Can we take a quick look at the meter real quick? Sure. Just want to take a quick peek at it. Money, if you want to take a photo of this, because you're going to need it anyway. Just want to take a look at the west. Do you have any pipes or anything over here?
Pipes?
Yep. So we accounted for those two pipes back here. The like smokestacks, you see them? Just a little bit. If you came to the right, you'd be able to see them. Those two pipes.
Oh, you're talking about the penetrations.
Yep. We'll design around that, but when we do your install, we would do all the panels on this side. They'd run a conduit right back here, and then we would place the inverter either on this portion of the roof or what's on the other side of this garage.
Yeah.
So we either place the inverter in the garage on
This is totally misleading. That's veneer.
veneer. Okay. Would you prefer that we do
Look,
the,
see that?
Yep.
This is not a CBS home. It's not concrete block stuck on the outside. It's a concrete block home with a brick veneer, solid brick veneer.
And what's the foundation like? Just regular
It's
foundation?
slab.
Slab. Okay.
Yeah.
So could we open this, or what's on the other side of here? Because I just want to look at. Hold on a second. We're gonna need to look at this. Got it. 150. Okay. If this was to need to be upgraded, we would step in and pay for the upgrade to a 200 amp if we needed to have more. So you wouldn't incur any sort of fees. What are those things?
That's my son's
Oh yeah?
little project. That's freshwater.
That's a Pleco, and I don't know what the other one is.
That thing with the whiskers is cool.
Yes, those are like
It's
they're
a
like catfish.
it's a version of a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a beta fish, and that was too much maintenance for me. That was about the most maintenance I could have dealt with. Once I added the filters, I was like, I
beta
can't do
fish
that.
do make it dirty quickly.
Cool, so I got what I needed to see. Let me show you the design. I'll show you really the apples to apples comparison, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Okay.
cool. So, that's the system design. Obviously, we can see those two white dots are those two pipes that we saw up there.
Mm-hmm.
So the system is going to go right up to that first pipe, a space, and then one panel, and then even a row below that. It's a total of a kilowatt system that will produce you kW per year, which is equivalent to a 102% offset. Now the way this would work out, you'd have a gross system and a net system cost, and through the redirection your fixed payment would be for your first 18 months. I'm going to assume there's ways you can get the $100, but I'm going to assume that you do not get the federal tax incentive based on the fact that, you know, if you do or don't, if you don't have any federal income tax, if you don't have any stocks, if you don't have any 401ks, if you don't have any tax liability or money over the next 5 years that you'll owe to Uncle Sam, and you don't open up an LLC and file depreciation against your home office, then you would not get. The first 18 months will give you 2 tax seasons to claim that credit. The fixed payment is going to be, it's not going to go up. On month 19, your fixed payment would be, which is basically what you're already paying right now. And then 3, 4, 5 years from now, your fixed payment would stay at, when realistically this is going to continue to go up. So your fixed payment is fixed with no tax credit. Months 1 through 18, it's, if you got said, hey, I'm just going to apply it into the system, then your fixed payment would always stay at the 1. So if you do the full breakdown, the down payment we do is 0. You're not paying anything out of pocket. You're just basically helping us out by being a reference. But if we break down the true apples to apples, your gross system amount is minus potential incentive, where your total net system cost with the incentive applied would be.
Talk to me about that tax credit.
So the tax credit is a federal income, it's called.
No, talk to me how you give it to me. Is it a certificate?
So the easiest way for me to explain it's a gift card with no balance. You get a certificate that claims that you got a solar system installed, which is eligible for 30% of the gross system cost, which is showed as. What would happen is you would go to your accountant at the end of the year. You would hand them that certificate, that form, and say, "Hey, I got a solar system installed this year." In tax incentives, and if your tax incentive, if your accountant is good and he understands how the solar tax investment works, he would tell you, based on what you're telling me, hey, I don't get any income tax, that the best way to do it is you open up an LLC under your home office and you file.
I'm not going to do that.
Then you wouldn't get the.
Here's what I want to ask the question. The house that's straight across the street from us, I owned that house 2 years ago.
Okay.
I sold it last year. The house you're sitting in, I'm going to sell it this year.
Okay.
So I will have capital gains from across the street and capital gains here. How long do I have? What's the window for the use of that tax credit?
The use of the tax credit, you have 5 years from the time the system is installed.
Can you use the credit both forwards and backwards?
I'm going to call my tax guy because I don't want to give you the wrong answer. I'm not going to make up some, so we'll see if he picks up. Backwards as in for previous
years.
Like if you owed something or if you had capital gains from a previous year. This guy's like the tax nerd out of all of them. So we'll see if he picks up. 50-50, he's a busy guy.
Hey Taylor, this is Marcos.
Hey Marcos, quick question for you. And I didn't know the answer and I'm with a family right now. Sorry to bother you, but I had one question.
Worries.
I usually know all of them, but I didn't know this one. Do you want to repeat it?
In using the tax credit, can it be used retroactively against previous years, or does it have to be used to forward years only?
Great question. So, if you already have let's just assume you have a balance with the IRS.
No.
And
No, he had capital gains from a home that he sold.
okay. No, for the ITC credit on personal level, you only get to carry it forward 10 years. However, if it's a business, for business owners, they do get to carry it back up to 3 years. So if he's 1099 or has some type of business, then it can be carried back. But
So
at the personal level, it's just carried forward.
For a house that I owned and sold, closed the transaction a year ago next month. A year ago next month. In other words, February of 21. Which means I have not filed taxes yet for last year. Can I use that tax credit for that as well as the forward years?
So since it's for another tax year, it's going to be for tax year 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Then the system that you will buy today will not apply to that. But let me just let's just assume this is where I'm trying to see if you're gonna have a balance owed for 2021 taxes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say you don't pay that amount. Let's just say it's 5,000 or 10,000, whatever the dollar amount is, and then you get the system now, and you qualify for a refund because of the tax credit, and that refund will be applied to that. So in essence, it would help you pay for that tax liability.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then selling the home today in 23 and filing taxes in 24, if the tax credit is not used up in its entirety, then the balance could apply against 23 taxes paid in 24?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, and that's the beautiful thing about the solar tax, the ITC credit, is one of the.
I'll give you his number too,
pretty
and I'll
much
make sure
credits,
that
not too
everything
many
he does
that
for you is
even
free,
if you don't use it all, you
so
don't
you
lose
can
it.
use
It
him
gets
as a
carried forward.
resource. Marcos, also, I'm gonna leave you with his number, and he's gonna he'll send me that email that you want me to, and any help that he needs. I'll cover any expenses that is.
Absolutely, man. We're
Yep.
here to help. So if you have any questions, we're open all year round. And congratulations on taking this decision. It's good. Very good credit.
All right, Marcos. Thanks. Did you have any other questions for him?
And you guys
Thanks.
have a great.
Yeah, so I'll give you his number, and I mean, it's like I said, he specializes in the solar tax incentive. So that's, I hope, answers your question. You know, obviously, you can claim it over the time, but you know, that's why I want to pretend the first 18 months, no matter what's one. But the fixed payment, if there is no sort of, you know, reapplying that or keeping that money, you know, really the decision you should be making is, would you rather rent something for $300 a month and know the fact that that's going to go up, or own something for knowing it's fixed? You know, have a $1,000 cost over time compared to $2,000 if you don't factor in the net, and obviously the appreciation of the home. People that are selling the home, like flippers, a lot of them are just opening up multiple LLCs, keeping the tax credits, selling the home, flipping the home, getting the additional home value, getting an extra 20 grand on selling the house just by putting solar on it. So that's it. Really, there is no more, there is no less. I have to submit an application to Duke first step. After we submit the application to Duke, they're going to tell us if it's approved or denied. If it's approved, we then do either send a mobile notary over to your house, or they do a virtual notary. It's called a notice of commencement, where we go to the town and file for a permit for you. Mm-hmm. After the permit is all approved, then we schedule your install. Then it's installed. Then it's inspected. After it's inspected, then it's turned on. That's that 120, 80, 60, whatever day process that it takes. That's it. There's no more. There's no less. It's either you know, say yes, I'm going to continue paying, or I like the idea of ownership, and you know, I like the idea of working with Damani, because Damani is going to be the one that is your project manager throughout the entire time. I'll give you access to my phone number as well if you needed to get a hold of me.
The installer,
Mm-hmm.
and their insurance covers insurance doesn't cover latent defects. That's a law suit.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So if there was anything that happened with the system
Later on, and the reason I asked this question is because the guy across the street that has the standing seam steel roof,
Mm-hmm.
when his solar panels, which are on the back side of the house,
Yep.
the south side of the house, were installed, they were installed incorrectly, and the water leaked into the house.
Well, any sort of leak or anything, we're on the hook.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those.
That's the defect that I speak of. A construction defect.
And if that were to happen, we'd fall responsible. It's not a small company. It's a very big company. They're a national company. But also, you know, the reason why I choose to work with, the reason why I like it, because of the equipment. You're getting a Lamborghini type equipment on your roof. You're getting the best inverter, the IQ8 Plus inverter. You know, the 405 watt panels. I get to use less roof space, and I can genuinely give people a much better deal. When people make the decision to go solar, people care about the quality, the service, and the pricing. And for your long-term happiness, you don't want to give up any of those three. You want to make sure.
So that, then back up a
Yep.
little bit, and The system is installed, the system turns on,
System's installed, then the system's inspected. We need to have an inspector.
and then it's turned on.
Then it's turned
And
on.
it's functioning.
Yes.
And during the daytime, it is generating electricity, generating DC, which runs through the inverter, which converts it to AC.
You should start working for us. You know a lot about this more than some of my new guys. Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
then if the house
Yeah.
isn't consuming it, then the excess goes back into the grid.
Correct.
Okay. What happens at night?
What happens at night is similar to rollover minutes. What's happening is that meter is spinning backwards throughout the entire day. And then at night, it's going forwards and you're drawing off. So for example, pictures make things a lot easier. So this guy got 96% of his power coming from the solar. What happens is February or March, April, May, June, July, August, September, he's producing more power than he actually uses. So all these months he's got all this piggy bank sitting and he's going to utilize it in October, November, December, January, and February. And then he's going to overproduce. For example, if this guy's system was installed in October and it got turned on in October, he's going to have an electric bill still with the utility company this month, this month, this month, this month, this month. But then he's going to go negative, 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 stack the credits. So as he goes into year 2, he's no longer going to have an electric bill and he has a do not pay bill.
Okay.
With you will have a $30 connection fee your first year. You have a $30 fee to connect to the meter. It's a connection
Per
fee.
month or one
Per
time?
month. Per month.
Okay.
It's $30. Nothing I can do to get around that.
Mm-hmm.
How? Because the system is 107% offset based on your current usage. If you got a Tesla, you got an electric car. Obviously, if you're in a situation where you start using less power, now you got 120% offset. You got more credits after the first 12 months.
Okay. So this system does not contain a battery.
The system does not include a battery.
Okay.
Does not include a battery. It includes the inverter, the IQ8 Plus inverter, and obviously that inverter ties into your meter, which is called an interconnection packet, which we fill out to actually get you approved to net
So
meter.
at night I'm still drawing off of the grid because it's not producing anything on top of the house.
You are, but you're not paying for your power because what we're doing is we're overproducing during the day.
Okay.
So the whole goal is the ideal situation. I always tell these guys, like if I said, hey, I'll give you a free trip to Hawaii, you'd love to go, but if I told you there were 7 layovers to get there, people don't want to go on the plane, they want to get to the destination. That's it. Like, I mean, like everything.
Is all this stuff transferable upon sale of the house?
One form, 2 okays, yes.
Okay.
One form, 2 okays. They would take over the $5 fixed payment, they'd own that
Who
system.
is the okayer?
The person that buys the home automatically gets approved. It's an automatic approval,
Okay.
and it transfers.
Can't be turned down?
Cannot be turned down, no. They
Okay.
cannot turn down. Now, one question that some people ask, what happens if the new homeowner doesn't want the solar panels when they buy the house? They would have never bought the house in the first place. It's like if they didn't want a pool, they wouldn't have bought the home. But for one person that doesn't like the idea of powering their home from renewable energy and being more economical on a bill they're not going to cancel, there's 6 or 7 more people that are more attracted to your home. This is something where you can get more value out of what you're selling your home for because you're selling it as an energy efficient home, and especially with the equipment you're getting on the home. It's not a Tetris looking project. It's not janky looking panels. It's not a janky inverter. It's not cheap equipment. You know, you're getting a 25-year bumper to bumper on the whole system. Most systems, like, you're obviously, you know, more educated than the average consumer when it comes to solar. The big thing that nobody realizes is every system is a 10-year warranty on the inverter. What do you think is the first thing that would go in a solar system?
The weakest link.
The inverter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The weakest link.
Yep. And that's why we warranty and maintain everything for 25 years.
Mm.
So that's it. The next step, we verify that you do own the home. Like I said, it is a utility loan, so they verify you have at least a 650 credit score. The way to bypass credit is if you wanted to pay cash, which you're saving a little bit on the interest. How cash would work is you would do 30% of the system cost 5 days after your engineering's done. 60% on your day of installation, and 10% when it turns on. You're saving maybe $2,000-3,000 in interest if you were to pay for the system cash. That's it though. The next step is we just verify you're on the deed, you haven't killed anybody, you're not a wanted burglar, you have over a 650 credit score.
Not today,
Yep, that's good.
but you never know.
Yep.
Yeah. Who
um,
can say about tomorrow, huh?
yep. Usually the one is
Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof.
Interesting.
one of the funny ones I was at yesterday. He's like, nothing they found out about yet. So,
Cool.
So what kind of an engineer are you?
I'm not even an engineer. All I do is put together the system. So
Okay.
I'm not. I
So
don't.
you're not a double E or
No,
any of that stuff, huh?
no. I just engineer the system design. That's it.
So you're just a designer.
I'd consider myself a solar professional. I started doing this in 2014. Some guys like this
Where?
in Massachusetts, where I started in 2014.
Yeah.
I started working with this guy right here. You might recognize him. Let me show you. In 2014, I started really the whole entire market in Massachusetts. And you recognize that guy right there?
Guy on the left?
The guy on the right's me, so yeah, the guy on the left.
Yeah, he's pretty controversial these days, isn't
So I
he?
said, you might like him or you might not. He's worth 200
You
billion.
think he will succeed in buying Google or no? You wouldn't bet against him, would you?
I wouldn't. You know what he said? There's some, like, for me, like, I believe in aha moments where the light bulb turns on in my mind.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things that he said to me that really resonated. One is very simple. He said, I believe in winning. And I think that's a big philosophy for me. I believe in winning. And then he said, would you rather pay more for dirty energy or would you rather pay less for clean energy? And, you know, not everybody cares about saving money. Not everybody cares about the environment. But at the end of the day, I think that there's a right way and a wrong way to power our homes. And, you know, if you weigh out all the options for the why solar would make sense, the hypothetical question I ask all the families at the end of the presentation is, this is what you have to think about. If I snapped my fingers and this whole entire solar system was installed right on that west side of the roof, you had the fixed payment, you knew that you owned it, you know that you had the equity, and you heard your doorbell ring, and it was Duke, and Duke was like, hey, you go by Randall or Randy?
RW.
RW. So they said, hey, RW, how would you like, I have a proposal for you. Let's rip off the solar panels, let's go back to Duke. We're going to make your payment, and we're going to raise it at any time we want. And by the way, we're not giving you any of that money back because it's rent. It's going to be tough for somebody to go up to somebody that has solar and convince them to take it off and go back to renting. It's like the same way that we own our homes. It's like if I tried to say, hey, I work for Rent-A-Center, let's rent your furniture, let's rent your TVs, let's go to Enterprise and rent our car and then return it and go pick up one for Hertz. It's just rent, own, liability, asset, consume, produce.
Yep.
And you know, I
Money
think
down the drain.
it's exactly that's the main reason that, you know, people move forward with going solar. There really is no way I can hurt your situation. You're being more economical with a bill that you're not going to cancel, and everything I'm telling you is exactly the way that it is here, the same way that it is on the email that I'll send you, which is going to be the interconnection document and the approval that I need, and then, you know, then it's this, hey, it's a waiting game. We no news is good news. When something
So-
gets approved, he'll follow up with you.
The difference between this and this?
And that you have at least above a 650 credit score. Is your legal name Randall?
Mm-hmm.
And the last name? I need to put some sort of email address on file. Contact number. Save. Robert W.
Robert.
Randall, sorry. Just had a little bit of
You got your tongue in front of your eye tooth and you couldn't see what you were trying to say.
Yep. I got my tongue in front of my what?
Eye tooth.
And you couldn't see what you were trying to say.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Aren't you glad you can?
Yeah.
You learn every day. When your ears are open and your eyes are seeing, you learn something every day.
That's a fact.
So this is the breakdown once again of the system. Your gross system is the tax credit the net, your fixed payment for months 1 through 18, no matter what, is reduce the down payment to 0. Can't go lower than that. If you don't apply the into the system, the fixed payment on month 19 is fixed, won't increase. That is going to produce 107% of your current 102% in 1 kilowatt hours. And then this is the process of what happens. So he's going to start taking some photos, a virtual site survey. Then design and engineering happens. If anything changes from this final design, we have to do something called a change order. I don't see a change order happening with this one because I already looked at the pipes. There's no additional pipes that I didn't see. Then we do a permitting and interconnection. That's a 4 to 6 week process. Installation is 1 day. 2 to 3 weeks after the installation is when the inspection happens.
Who does the inspection? Is that city, county, what?
It's your local utility company that does the actual installation or the inspection. So the utility company does the inspection.
The electrical utilities, right?
We'll schedule the final inspection and work with your local utility company to get you connected fast to solar power energy and savings. After that, we have a week later where we have permission to operate, where the system is turned on. And that's the whole breakdown. Just like I explained to you, everything is the same here. So next step is I have to verify that you have decent credit. And if they give us a thumbs up, then I'll send you an email that will be for your interconnection packet.
All right, so the email comes from, okay.
So this will be pulling up here in a second. I think Kai just asked you if you were going to that other appointment. So just text them back. You gotta get a new screen.
Yeah, screen
right?
protector.
He's gotta get a new screen, right? Look at how professional he looks, but look at his phone. You gotta fix that, man.
100%.
So what are you spending your money on is the question.
Oh,
Wine, women, and song?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Wine, women, and what was the last?
Song.
Song?
S-O-N-G.
What is
Song?
that supposed to mean?
Entertainment.
Oh,
song.
entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard it like song, yeah.
Like concert.
Wine, women, and song, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting
I'll
all your
use
money,
that.
how to money?
Wine, women, and songs. I'm gonna use that against my dad. You go, babe, where you get that from? What you spending your money on? Wine, women, and songs?
Yeah. That's funny.
Randall, you're on the deed of the home. That was 740 Hickory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. All by
What,
myself.
what year were you born?
1947.
Income for the household. Doesn't need to be exact.
I'm retired and I'm on Social Security, so my rough annual income is about 27,000.
Okay. So what we're going to do is the utility loan application to make sure that I can do this.
I still can't see it.
Yeah,
Because of the
his
quality
phone's
of
a
the
little.
screen.
Yeah. Your social, I just need you to type it. I can type it, whatever you feel comfortable with. All right. Just need you with your little finger here to initial in that box. Do it with the pen, with your hand, whatever you prefer.
Pencil?
If you can, once I send the interconnection document, I want you to start taking all the photos.
Mm-hmm.
No blurry photos. No blurry photos. Take extra photos if you need to. If any of the photos are blurry, it'll hold it up. So bear with me right now as this is processing. Do you know what your credit looks like roughly?
The last time I checked,
Yeah.
it was 730.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
that was last month.
Yep.
Who
And
knows?
no one knows about the one. You haven't killed anybody. No one knows about that one.
They haven't
so
found them.
good. I had one guy say that to me so seriously, and I was questioning, like, if he's serious. He's like, they didn't find that. Deep in the woods. Like that. I was
Okay.
like, oh my gosh. I'm getting out of this house. Okay, so you were approved for up to 135,000. Obviously, the system isn't 135,000. It just means that you have excellent credit. So next I'm going to send you a
So
couple.
that's sample to credit report
Just
from which one?
I believe it's Equifax, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
It takes the best of all three, or I
So
believe.
that's the average.
Yep. Now your utility bill. Did you take a picture of that?
I do need another picture of it.
Okay. So if you wanna grab the utility bill, and then how do you access your email, RW? From your phone? Can you access it from your phone?
that becomes a hotspot, and then it feeds the computer.
Okay. Send to docs.
So what's the output of the inverter? Will it power air conditioning and dryer and that type of thing, or is it limited to 110?
I believe it's limited to 110. What is the output?
A dryer, will it run 240? Or is it limited to 110, 120?
You're gonna love this. Do you take text messages?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I just sent you the
Actually, do the rolling one.
inverter specs. Output current
Huh?
1.21 it says. 240/211/264. Maximum continuous output current 1.21 is what it's showing here.
Okay.
And it's the iQ 8 Plus, so you're going to be looking at this column. It's 300 peak output power. 300 peak output power. Maximum continuous output power 290, and it's UL certified. That's another question the lady asked me too. Alright, so what I need you to do is open up your email address or your email real quick. We're going to fill out one form, which is a homeowners association questionnaire.
There is none.
Um,
There is no homeowners association here.
Yep, you're just going to say no on that then. Basically, a homeowners association questionnaire. That's the first one we do. So,
Chase credit inquiry.
it's going to be this homeowners association questionnaire. We just review the document with the yellow. You're going to click no. This is not a homeowners insurance or not a homeowners association, and then you press finish. So click that bottom there. That's just an electronic.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
Then the yellow. Then this right here. No, this is not a part of a part of a homeowners association. It's just no.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna click that to authorize that you're not a part of a homeowners association. This one right here. To draw your autograph. Okay, we can go back to the email. That all saves into your email anyways. You don't need to create a DocuSign. Just press this. And then go back again. And then the next one we're going to fill out is going to be your interconnection packet. That's going to be yellow again. And then I always tell people it's follow the yellow brick road. That's called an interconnection packet, which will basically be approved or denied. Damani will follow up with you. I typically have them follow up at least once a week. If you don't want us to follow up once a week, we can follow up once every other week, but sometimes there's just no news. It's a waiting game. So I always tell people no news is good news. It's going to explain to you all your warranties, that the system's warranted bumper to bumper 25 years, including the inverter.
Is this still on this available to me that I can print out later?
Correct, yes. They'll all save to your email. Once it completes, it'll go back to a save, so it all stays in your email.
Okay.
So you'll be able to print this out. You know, it's a good book. You can read it. Explains to you everything in the warranty. There's no hidden secrets. For some reason, if me and Damani lied to you about something, you'd end up canceling this, and we all just wasted our time. So press next. And then this is all going to save to your email. It'll just say completed right above that. You'll be able to access that at any time. So right there you'll see it as a completed right here. The next email will come in right there. That completed will be how you'll be able to actually look at it. And then the last one is the document for the utility loan. Make sure all this matches up to what I showed you on this side. So press the bottom little checkbox.
Did they file a lien against the house?
On a lease or a PPA, yes. On an ownership, no.
Okay, so there is no.
No. It's called a UCC1 filing.
Okay, but there's no second mortgage against a house.
No, not with ownership. With lease or PPA, yes, there is.
Okay.
Good for you guys to know. Let's continue. Okay. Press start. Okay, so this is your total system net cost. The total interest on the system is obviously if you pay cash, you're saving that. Your initial payment for months 1 through 18 is going to be, that's the exact payment for a month.
Okay.
Starting on the 19th month, if you do not apply the tax credit into the system, your fixed payment is okay. If you apply the tax incentive into the system, the fixed payment will stay at the. So this is what the month 19 goes to. That's
19 through what?
19 to 300. It's 25-year fixed payment.
Okay.
So that's exactly what that states right there. Same as it does on this piece of paper. And then there's 6 yellow boxes. And then at the end, the billing is always set up automatically like insurance. We put your billing information on file, just your bank name, your routing, and your account. That saves to the file. And then after the installation, 60 days after the installation is when your first payment is. You're not getting billed on the day of the install. Your first billing cycle is 60 days after the installation, which gives us 2 months to turn the system on, which foregoes you getting double billed. Because if we installed it and it took 40 days to PTO the system, you would still be double billed. So that's why we wait 60 days until your first payment schedule, which would be the one.
So then, at the sale of this house, what happens to this document?
At the sale of this house, you could do one of 2 things. One, you can say, hey, the system transfers with the home. We call Good Leap. There's one form, they okay, the system gets transferred to them. And obviously what you do with the tax credit, you do with the tax credit.
So the tax credit is still in my name?
Correct, yes. The tax credit's still in your name.
Okay.
So that's just, we follow the yellow brick road, that will save in your email as well.
Is this finished?
Nope, we gotta click this yellow box. Yep, we're gonna press the blue button at the bottom.
Adopt and install.
Adopt an initial.
Initial.
Yep, and then we're gonna click that yellow.
That one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's only one on that page, right?
Yep, one on that page. One on that page.
Top, middle, bottom?
All 3. That's why we call it follow the yellow brick road. Another one there. Another one there. Another one there. Another one. Another one. Another one. And then this is where we type in your bank information, so your account and routing, just to put it on file. After the installation is complete, they're going to ask you if you want your billing cycle to be beginning, middle, or end of the month. So you'll have the option whether it be the 1st, 15th, or 30th of the month.
Okay, so what do you need here now?
Do you know which bank you use, like who the bank name is?
Yeah.
If you grab a check, I just write down the routing and account number, and that saves to the file.
It's Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And then what's gonna happen is you're gonna get a phone call from either a Juliana or an Andre. They do something called a welcome call with you. And they're also virtual notaries, so they're gonna actually let you know that we're gonna be going to the town for your permit. They'll be giving you a call. They'll also do a welcome call on Damani, and they're gonna you're gonna rate him 1 through 10. So you're gonna say, hey,
0.
0. Yep. So where are you from originally?
Where was I born?
Like, where did you spend most of your life?
Most of it's been all over the United States.
Really?
Yeah, I was born in Tulsa.
Good old Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So my mentor, his name is Tom Hopkins. He's an author. He wrote the book How to Master the Art of Selling, and he's trained millions of people globally all over the world. And what he explained to me was, he made a really like impactful moment in my life when he explained this. He said, your life is like this. This is what your life is like. But the way he explained eternity, he said, picture a big eagle flying straight up into the air. And he dove down right to a pile of, he went right up to the land, like the grass or the dirt. And the eagle came swooping down as fast as he could, and he swiped his wing against the ground. He said the way that he likes to explain eternity is, how many times would that eagle need to go up, swipe their wing all the way against the ground to get to the core of the earth. And he said that's how he would explain eternity compared to the life we live, which is so minuscule. And I grew up as a Christian. My Oma and Opa from my mother's side, that's what I call them. I'm half German, half Irish. And that's one thing that I want to get, that I need to get, is more spiritual and more, because I think when I listened to Randy Moss, who's used to be a professional football player, he said family, fitness, and faith. He said if you can get those things locked in, that it's going to lead you to being on. And he said when one of those things is off, it usually is a situation where you're like, So I took that as a pretty impactful moment when that was explained to me. So kind of a cool way to think about it. Yeah. One last click, and we press next, and then all the documents are completed. And then we're gonna, Damani, you have to do it on here, so he's gonna start collecting some photos. Just press finish, the blue button. That will also save to your phone. Damani will be your project manager from the beginning.
Did you get this info or no?
All good to go, yep.
Okay.
He will be your project manager from the beginning to end. However, if he doesn't do a good job or something happens, you call me directly on my cell phone. Taylor McCarthy.
No relation to the current Speaker of the House?
Kevin, no. No relation. But I did do my family tree all the way back through Ancestry.com, and I found out where my family was from, and their first one that ever came to America was Jeremiah McCarthy. And I also, so this is me, Taylor. That's my dad, Tim. That's his dad, Philip. Philip's dad was Charles. Charles was the number one. I found out my dad's dad, was the number one cigar salesman in the country back in the 1800s. Then his dad was Eugene.
Did he die of lung cancer?
Probably. Dennis, good old Dennis from 1834. Dennis's dad was John in 1808. John's dad was Jeremiah, 1782, that married Julia Morgaine, and that's as far as I could go back. But I found out that he was from Cork, Ireland, and it's just kind of cool. And then what's funny is it goes all.
Did you pay to get all that?
$100.
Really?
Yeah, I just took a swab of my thing, and then I sent it back to them, and I found out all these people.
So this was a DNA lineage?
It was just a swab test, yeah. And I got all this from my Oma, but they didn't have any records of the Germans. So I was like, I don't know what happened there. Something happened where they don't have any records from the German side. But even my Grammy, I got it all the way back to
really cool.
Like this one. Because they're from Prince Edward Island, which was where they came over. So some of my dad texted me when I sent him this, because I was like, my dad's just a funny guy, but my Grammy, my mom's side, we trace it all the way back to England, and we were like, he's like, God, don't tell me I'm English. My dad said, he's like, you gotta be kidding me. He's like, don't be telling me that, Taylor. But yeah, does everything show completed on your phone except the virtual site server?
Yeah, all I gotta do is the virtual site server.
Okay, so that's it. What we gotta do is take all the photos, make sure those are all complete. What we probably have to do is, if we're going to go talk to Craig, just probably go introduce me to Craig again real quick, and then come back, take all the photos.
Okay.
And then we have to go over to...
I'm going to call her and let her know that I have everything done.
Alright, cool. The design's ready for the one on... What street was that?
What else
Slingwood.
here? Anything?
There's one major question that I ask every single one of the families I help, so you have to be in this. So here it is, okay? I want you to answer this as genuine as possible, okay? All right, I'm here with RW, and I have one question for you, RW. If I snap my fingers, the solar was all installed on the roof, and you heard your doorbell ring, and it was and tried to convince you to rip the panels off and go back to renting your power, what would you say?
No.
But what if they were like, come on, RW, let's just rip the panels off. We'll only raise your rate 2 or 3 times a year.
No.
You heard it here first. You wouldn't do it. Cool. So you gave a very good answer, but the last guy's like, I'd take out my AK-47. So that's just a fun thing that I like to do. And this is personally for me. I've set up 10 this week, so I've gotten some pretty funny answers from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's good to go. Last but not least, we gotta take a quick photo with you with the money in here.
Got the option A, option B.
Yep, you gotta hold up this one. We'll hold up that one.
And I'll hold up.
Hold up that one, and I'll hold up this one. Alright, so you gotta be in the middle here.
So do these go to the post office?
It goes just to our team, yeah. Damani might send you a Christmas card next year if you're
Just
lucky.
with all of us on it.
Yeah.
There you go. Boom. Boom.
Alright, cool. So you are good to go, and now it's just a waiting game. If the utility denies you, we'll let you know. If the utility approves you, we'll let you know. No news is good news, but if you need anything, you can call me directly.
Mm-hmm.
When you get that second picture of the utility bill, either take a picture on your phone and text it to Damani or email it to him.
All right.
Damani,
Have you already
you wanna
sent
put
me
number?
So I'm gonna send you an email as well, and I'm gonna text you, but I'm also leaving my information
Okay.
as well.
So you're gonna leave me how I contact you?
Yes.
He's gonna give you his
And
burner
I'm gonna
phone.
get in.
You know what a burner phone is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna leave you with his
That's the
burner.
one that I lost last year and can't find.
My name, my number, and my email.
Okay.
And I'm gonna email you as well.
All right. Good.
You know one of the best aha moments that I ever got?
Mm-hmm.
So, in what we do, it's very much mental, right? And you can't let your highs get too high, you can't let your lows get too low. We have to maintain an even keel. Sometimes when you let your lows get too low or your highs get too high, you make an emotional decision. I was in Flint, Michigan. I was going past a church and there was a billboard. And it said, "He who angers you controls you."
Mm-hmm.
And that's been every time. Every time I'm ready to get upset, frustration plus dwelling equals quit, get mad, or withdraw. Frustration plus creativity is how you get better. And that's just been a very important thing for my mindset.
Well, anger at someone is like you drinking poison, hoping they die. Because the anger and the bitterness that remains inside you will kill you. Because it'll create physical reactions on the inside of you, which over time you'll die from.
That's true.
You will.
That's
It's
good.
like stress. Stress will kill you.
You know what next time you get stressed, you know what you think?
What?
Stressed, spelled backwards, is desserts. It is. It is. Stress spelled backwards is desserts.
You eat something sweet? So
Yeah.
you want the final joke of the day?
Let's
Of
hear
course,
it.
let's
What
go.
did the shark say when he ate the clownfish?
I don't know.
You're not that
That
funny.
tastes sweet. No.
Wait. You gotta say it one more
Here
time.
we go, one more
All right,
time.
one more.
Different thing. What did the shark say when he ate the clownfish?
Clownfish.
He said, that tastes funny.
Okay, that's where the joke was.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sweet.
That's a sweet joke. All right, so I'm going
RW.
to hear from you next.
He's gonna
Yes.
hear from
Thanks,
Damani.
Taylor.
I appreciate
Thank you
you
so
putting
much,
our trust and
Randall.
confidence in
Okay,
Damani.
where's your other partner in crime that was here yesterday?
Oh yeah, Kai. He's not here right now.
Okay.
He's probably out and just working.
Okay.
Yep. We got about
What's
4.
your name again?
Gabriel,
Gabriel.
like the angel.
Yes.
So
What was his job?
to deliver the message of God.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
He
That's,
was the messenger.
that's what I do. What I do.
So there's 3 parts of you. What are they?
I don't know.
Spirit, soul, and body.
Oh, yeah.
What dies?
Body.
The body.
Yes. What lives forever?
Spirit.
Soul and spirit
Soul and spirit.
live forever.
You know what? 50% of what we do is enthusiasm, and the way I define enthusiasm is the spirit we have within.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which you can control.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
I gotta
Right.
put him in some
He's already got
meditation.
solar.
Yeah. Just need bigger panels.
Yep. All right, Demoni, if you want to introduce me, just give me the design and then come back and take the photos, because I know we're kind of in a rush to get to the few other ones. RW, thank you. It was an absolute pleasure. You gave me a lot of good training, because these guys need to understand when they get these questions how to handle it.
And I'm gonna be back in 2 seconds.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Nice meeting you.
Inside or you gonna be outside?
Just outside.